Back. It's time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the newspapers this morning. And Edgar is here with me once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
We are looking at the cover of the Daily Times newspaper first. And today is Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. It says here, Senate to probe NNPCL over 8.4 trillion naira withheld subsidy funds, passes 2025 to 2027 MTEF FSP. Then there is a photo story right there on the cover with President Bola Tinubu with President Cyril Ramaphosa on arrival at Cape Town for the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission in Cape Town, South Africa. It also says right there at the bottom, stop hemorrhaging Nigerians through levies, PRP tells federal government. And at the top left, it says here, Tinubu, Nigeria, South Africa must drive Africa's transformation. It also says here, 706 ballot boxes, 50 election bags, others items destroyed in IKA North INEC office. Rich Nigerians not paying enough taxes, says Senator Jimo Ibrahim. And Senate confirms General Oluyede as Chief of Army Staff. That's what we have on the cover of the Daily Times.
Absolutely. I think the one that really strikes my interest is Tinubu saying Nigeria, South Africa must drive Africa's transformation. And that is really beautiful to see the amount of work put into that, because I know they signed a 5 years MOU where they're about, making sure violence, criminality is reduced in both countries. And it's beautiful to see that the president is traveling to different countries to make sure things are working. I mean, people are always complaining and saying, what is he doing? What is he doing? This is good work, and I'm grateful for this one.
It's so interesting because obviously over recent months, there's been a lot of back and forth about the relationship between South Africa and Nigeria. So this is definitely a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Trying to, resolve past issues and create new ties.
Yeah.
We have the Nation newspaper with us as well. It says here on the cover of the Nation, Man, Kuka, okay, tax reform, Senate widens consultation. AGF MDAs to work with lawmakers, stormy session in House of Reps. It says here, fire causes havoc in Kwara, Yobe, Taraba, Delta, and INEC office raised. Page 28 has more on that. It says here, it has a similar photo story here. It says Tinubu Ramaphosa to deepen Nigeria-South Africa partnership. And nobody has claimed ownership of 753 duplexes, what EFCC filed in court. Now, that story came up in the papers earlier this week, if you can remember.
On Monday.
Yes.
It's interesting because I was reading this and I was just wondering what is really going on. It's funny because some of the companies involved, they're trying to say they have no business with those the buildings.
Wow.
And, individuals are saying they don't own it as well. So it's really difficult for the EFCC to really go about and find proper owners of this building, because everyone is claiming they have no business with it. They don't know about it. The houses are empty. And it's...
So it is strange because obviously raw materials were purchased, wood, cement, blocks were all purchased to build these things. Eventually, the investigation is going to get all the way down to probably the artisans and the maisons who worked on it.
Absolutely.
Is everyone going to say they don't know who paid them to do that? And when you think about it...
I'm very sure you'll probably get cases of whistleblowing very soon. To say, oh, it was so the best thing, it's this person that did that. And I'm just hoping that, whatever happens, the buildings are used properly. Because if you look at the pictures.
Yeah, quite beautiful.
Beautiful pictures, So I'm hoping that at the end of the day, it is used for something amazing and helps to feed the people.
Okay, now still on the cover of the Nation, we talked a bit about it earlier on. Airline crashes 1 hour flight fare to 80,000 naira. Now that is some news. Because I've seen airfares of 180, 160, even probably 200,000, even just to get from Lagos to Abuja for some airlines. And it was getting scary. was getting scary.
Yes, it is. It is actually a scary thing because we understand that this is the period where people
Yeah.
get to travel a lot, and people want to travel to their meet their families,
Yeah.
and it's should I say it's good news that they reduced the prices? Because now, if you consider the amount of people that will be traveling, the
Yeah.
amount of work, and we all know
They're
how
definitely going to have full flights, that's for sure.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then you would have a lot of that, and then
Yeah.
I just hope that they don't have issues with stopping here and there, having flight issues about.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Godspeed to them and Godspeed to all the travelers this December. We have the Daily Independent newspaper with us as well. It says here, again, House of Reps session turns rowdy over tax reform bills. Protesters storm National Assembly over bills. Pengassan says bills will stifle oil, gas industry. Confirms Port Harcourt refinery is working. It also says here, right at the top left, Reps give Tinubu 72 hours to unfreeze NCPA accounts. Aero contractors crashes airfares to 80,000 naira. MD says 35% interest rate may kill aviation business. It also says here, apologies, fire destroys election materials at INEC office in Delta. FAN MD kicks over touting harassment of passengers at airports. Nigeria, other African airlines in slowest growth in air cargo market as global demand is up by 9.8%. And South Africa relaxes visa rules for Nigerian investors and tourists. So I guess that was probably part of the conversation that the two presidents were having while the president of Nigeria was in South Africa.
It's huge. I think it's really a big deal. To really curb violence as much as you can, it's really interesting. Another thing that really happens here is fire destroys election materials at INEC office in Delta.
Yeah.
This is not the first time something like this is happening in Nigeria. I think we need to look at ways. We need to start looking at ways to curb things like this from happening in the future, because it's a democracy. How do you begin to have materials? So we need to also look at that. It's something we should
use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC as you post or tweet or tag us. That's Wake Up Nigeria TVCE.